This is our family at Buckingham Palace in 1985. So there I am with my mom and my dad, my two twin brothers. And like a lot of people in our generation, Asian and otherwise, I spend a lot of time thinking, what am I supposed to do with my life? Right? We go through this a lot of the time. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And my mom said to me once, that is a huge privilege. You kids have a huge privilege. She said, we got to this country and we were focused on keeping our heads down and doing what we had to do. We were focused on our current meal, our current day of work, our current child, not the next of anything. And isn't this just an embodiment of what they say of staying in the moment? This is what they were forced to do. So since we started way up there on Maslow, it may be harder for us to find this happiness. But here is the but of our parents' generation. Our parents said that, they kept their heads down and they just did it. And I give them a lot of respect. Okay, my mom is still going strong. My dad passed away in May. That's been a really hard thing for our family this year. But it also, I think, helps, when you go through grief, if you lose somebody, this also stress tests this philosophy. Because if I looked at all this, I said, well, this is all BS after all. I don't believe in any of it. It actually makes me go, okay, some of these principles I believe in. I'm Hindu, I believe in faith, and whether you're Christian or Muslim or agnostic or anything, whatever your set of principles is, it gets tested during those times of loss and of grief. But the challenge for our parents' generation, with some exceptions, is they didn't do it. Their mental health wasn't always that good. They didn't address it. You've heard a lot about that in the last few days, of mental health, the saying we held it together. I don't know, sometimes that anger came out, that sadness came out, that disappointment came out. I don't know that they just did it and got all the way through it as healthily, if that's a word, as they could. Now add this to the fact, again, the water in which we're swimming, that your companies, all the companies here today and over the course of this week, you hire ambitious people. Right? We're here, we want more and bigger and faster and taller and stronger, and it never feels like it's enough. That actually leads me directly to the fourth tip, which is manage your energy. This is a big one. People forget this a lot because we're used to considering money and time as resources. I live in LA, I go to San Francisco a lot, and it's always this big conundrum. Do I drive or do I fly? And everybody does the math, they look at the gas prices, they look at how much the ticket costs, they look at the time, they look at the traffic, but they don't think about how they'll feel when they get there. Right? If you drive, which I've made that drive many times, you might be exhausted by the time you get there. That's energy. That's an important part of it because people will oftentimes talk about a straight shot, because they'll say that, oh, LA to San Francisco, it's a straight shot. I'm like, well, the moon is a straight shot. That doesn't mean it's close. It's really far away. What do you mean a straight shot? But as I've gotten older, I realize what that means. There are fewer turns. There's less you have to think about. You just shoot up the five, because I live in LA, so I won't say the five, and then you'll realize that, okay, I know what people mean now. So that is all part of the energy. And also manage your energy by replenishing. This is what I was talking about our parents' generation. They oftentimes did not take breaks. They really valued the fact that they could work for hours and hours and hours. But you probably heard the story of some, what is it, the two people who are chopping wood and somebody's chopping for like 10 hours and the other person chopped for maybe 6. But she chopped way more wood than the person over here. Why? Because she sharpened the saw. Right? She would go and she would sharpen the saw. That's what relaxation time is. That's what vacation time is. One of my brothers, one of the ones I showed you there, Vikas, he's a VP of Heineken in New York City, so he has a lot of fun. And he has a theory on this, not just a theory, a practice on this. He always has his next vacation booked. Even if it's 6 months out, he loves having it on his calendar. He put the money down, it makes it real. Now, applying for a job, this probably belongs more in the collegiate section than the pro section, but I thought this was interesting. This idea of trying to ask questions in an interview, hopefully you retire in your current jobs and you're super happy, but if you're ever looking for another job, I posted this on Quora. I don't know how many people here know Quora. I think a lot of technical people are on Quora, so I'm seeing a lot of nodding heads right now. So somebody had asked, what reply does the interviewer expect when he or she asks, do you have any questions for us? And I posted, the last 5 people who have held this position, where are they now? Hands down, the best question I've ever heard. I wish I could remember the source so I could attribute. Of course, if it's a new company or role, there may not be 5 people, but you get the point. I've now asked it myself a number of times, and it impresses the heck out of the interviewer as it's almost always a stumper. From my perspective, nothing is more important than this information because it tells you where the role leads. I want to know if the last few people got promoted, were fired, changed apartments, went back to school, or slept with the boss's spouse. Okay, I'm kidding on that last point, but seriously, what is more important than this? It has, what, 700,000 upvotes, or views, I guess, 6,000 upvotes, 700,000 views. It really resonated with people because at the end of the day, isn't that the point? You want to know, where does this job lead? That's going to be really, really important. If everyone goes, yeah, they stayed in it for 30 years, they loved it, they retired, that's probably a good job, potentially.